Yo, what is up, guys? In this video we'll be discussing how to animate in Krita for beginners or for someone who just needs to refresh their memory. So once your app has opened, you want to press new file right here. I'll give you a moment to copy my settings, or you can pause. And keep in mind, I just put these settings just so I don't put my PC under a lot of strain. You can increase the resolution, you can increase the height, you can increase the width. It's depending on what you want and how you want it for, like what you want it for, like maybe YouTube, or if you want to do it for something else, So just keep that in mind. So I'll just come here and say create. Come here. And then you come here so that you can set up your program for animation. So we'll come here and press animation if you haven't clicked that. So first things first, what you need to know is these right here, these blocks here are called frames, and these on my left, on the left side of the screen, are called layers. So with the frames, I don't know if you've heard, but with animation there's so much drawings involved. So basically, if I wanted to do something going from point A to point B, I'll have to draw it many times, going to point B, slightly forward, or you can even separate it. And I'm going to point B, and that will take like so much time. But then there are some tips on how to make your animation process quick, but that's for another video. Today I'll just be showing you how to animate. Just say redo right here, or you can press Ctrl Z. So here we can rename our layers. The use of layers, something that nobody taught me about these layers, is you can use them so that like your animations don't clash with each other. Like if you want to change something, it won't really affect you much. You won't have to like remove everything, or you won't have to like redraw certain things, But that's again for another video. Right now I'm just gonna show you how to animate with these frames. So basically we'll draw. You can draw it by hand, but just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna use this circle tool here. And then something you must always remember is you must always press this button right here. You must always press it so that it tells Krita that you're opening a new frame or you're starting a new frame. Otherwise, you might find that you lose all your information. Oh, and if you wanna save your file, you come here. So I'm gonna save this file as animation tutorial. We have saved that. Now Krita will automatically save this, but I suggest you come here from time to time to save your animations. So let's start. So this is frame 0. I'm just gonna draw the first here. That's a little too big. Come use two options, or we can just use the size. Then we'll come here. So right now I'm just gonna do the main frames. The main frames, as in like how far we want our animation to go. Then we can adjust as time goes on. Let's say we just want it to be here. Maybe we just want our animation to be there. Going to press new frame. And I've realized that sometimes I can struggle to remember where my last drawing was. That's why I turn on onion skins to keep the drawing consistent. So press new frame here, and you can see here I have my onion skin. So now this onion skin will tell me, like it will show me how to keep it consistent. Basically I can trace over this if I'm gonna draw the drawing again. or I can just push it slightly forward, like just so I can keep the shape, consistent. Because without the onion skins, I might not be able to see where I went, or I can find that my next frame is higher than the last drawing, or it's not the proper shape, So yeah. So we'll just come here. We'll just say maybe we want our animation to end here. So this ball is gonna go from here to here. Point A to point B. Let me just put it background there for that. Hold on. Yeah. So we'll lock these layers so that they don't interact. So we'll come back here to our paint layer where we did the frame. Here in frame 0 we have this ball, and then frame 30 we have where the ball finishes. In between that, frame 15, we'll draw another ball. Keep in mind, this is more like still the main frame, but I guess it does count as an in-between. You can call it an in-between, some call it main frames. And then we come in between that again. In 15, you can just put it here. And then it's more on how far you want your animation to go. So if you want to like move your... Oh, sorry, I made a mistake there. Let me just... Yeah. So if you want to move the picture in your frame, you can come here to this tool. Then we can just move that there to the place you want it. Now in between that, hold on, it's not... There we go. Now in between that, we'll add another in between. So then we come here to our circle tool. Keep in mind, there are many ways to animate faster, but like I said before, that is for another video. And then you can come in between that again, and then add another circle. One thing that might make you struggle when you're animating is the timing. When I say the timing, I mean if you separate your drawings if the more in betweens you have, the slower your animation becomes. But then the less drawings you have, the faster your animation becomes, which I will show you later in this video. So let's come this, and we'll just move that in a bit. Adjust the size. Go. So if we just play this back, put our clip end at 30. So when we play our animation back, you'll see it will look chunky. It will look like it's, stiff. But that's what the in-betweens are for. Wait, hold on. In between that, add an in-between. It will look choppy when we play it, going to point B. But that's where now more in-betweens come. So the more drawings you have, the smoother it will be. The less drawings, the more choppy it becomes. So then we can add an in-between this. So we're gonna add an in between this. Um, so we'll just here add new frame. And then let's see, we'll use that tool again. Zoom in between that. Another thing people like to use is ease in and ease out. One of the 12 animation principles talks about that. I really consider that you check them out. I suggest you check them out. Yeah, the 12 animation principles will help a lot in your animation career. So we've added an in between there. So we'll add an in between that. So come. Maybe in between that we can cut. Then again we can add another in between there. Yeah, between that. Okay. And we will check out our animation. So we'll just play that back. There we go. Becoming smoother. So in between that, we'll add another in between. Between that again, another in between. It doesn't have to be perfect because these pictures will only stay on screen for like a few seconds, if not a split second. So we'll just add an in between that. Oh. Add another in between here. Then we press that again, new frame. That. Here, as you can see, our ball looks out of shape. But like I said before, we're not really worried about that. We're just worried about the smoothness. Just add a new frame there, blank frame. And then in between that frame, between it, you can come again and do a small in between. maybe we can just size. We can leave it like that. Come again. Choose that. Actually, I think in the previous frame we can make this bigger. Uh, see. I think here we can add another one. 2. Yes, our animation when we replay it, it'll lose its shape. But then what we want here is just the general smoothness of the animation. That's all we're looking for. So fix that, doesn't perfect. And yeah, play that back. That's what it will look like. If you still think it's choppy, you can increase the frame rate, but that will just make your drawings show on screen for a less period of time, like a very small period of time. So then we can just increase the frame rate. Let's see what it is. It makes it smoother, but the animation becomes too quick. Unlike if we now lower the frame rate, it becomes choppier and choppier and slower. So it means your drawings will stay on screen for a longer time. There are 2 ways you can extend the duration of your animations. By separating the frames, you can just come and highlight this. You can highlight this, and then we say hold frames, insert hold frame, or insert multiple hold frames. So basically what this will do is it will hold your frames for a longer period of time. So let me see. 1. So if you don't wanna jeopardize the smoothness of your animations, you can like keep the frame rate as it is. Like ours was at 24 FPS, and then now all we changed was the spacing. So the spacing will now make it move slower. Then we can juice up this animation a bit. Can juice it up. Let's just give it some color, maybe even a smiley face, or yeah, we can give it some color. So I'll just go with you can come here to a color palette, or you can use the color wheel. can right click if you're on mouse. So then we can just make the ball green. And from this point on, I'll just time lapse. And now when we play back our animation, keep in mind we didn't want to make this perfect. It's just to give you a general understanding of animation. You can do what you want with it. Yeah, but that is it for today's video. Please like and subscribe.